Well, hello friends. We are here with these 3 beautiful fresh peppers. But what I'm going to do is I want to do roasted peppers today, right? So, you know the ones that you get in the jar, right? And they have this beautiful roasted flavor, soft and sweet, right? So that's what I want to do with these. But I have an electric stove, right? So what do we do when we have an electric stove and we want roasted peppers? So what I did was I set my broiler on high, right? I set it on high. And I'm gonna take these peppers and I'm gonna put them right under the broiler, right? So you can see there's my burner, right? And there's the peppers. Now you don't want it too high because you don't want to set a fire. But what we're looking for is we're gonna set that broiler on high, we're gonna let it run, and we're gonna char and blacken these peppers as we go. And then we're gonna treat them just like we would on a flame. Ready? So we can see that broiler is heating up. We'll check back here in a second, hang on. You are going to be tempted to want to turn them when they look like this, but let them go a little bit longer, right? We wanna really char it on each side. So we're gonna just keep rolling them as they go, but we can see this orange one's getting kind of close, but I'm gonna let it go a little bit longer. Yellow one needs longer, red one needs longer. Let them go. We are here in my home kitchen. It's lunchtime. I have to go to work very, very soon. So I have a little bit of time to make lunch. And I just wanted to check in and show you what I do when I have just a little bit of time, but I want to make a quick lunch that's delicious and healthy. Mine is also gluten-free as well, because for the most part, my day-to-day life, I'm gluten-free. So you'll generally see gluten-free recipes from me on this page. But we're gonna do a tuna cake. A tuna cake, right? Old school tuna cake. So what I put in mine, I use as my binder. I use a little almond flour. We got some eggs here. And then with just a couple simple ingredients, you can make something really delicious that everybody will enjoy. So let's take a look. We've got our chunk tuna, right? Oh yeah. And did I mention it's affordable? Right, this is a really inexpensive recipe. And who couldn't use a little bit of a struggle meal recipe right now, right? So I got this canned tuna at Aldi. I think it was like 95 cents a can. So you get a really good price. I recommend using the light tuna in water. I do the one in water because I want to add and control the oils that go into it, right? Does that make sense? Like, we don't want any weird oils. I'm going to dump the water out on this. All right, and then it's super easy. We just assemble. All right, so let's check back in on those peppers that we were working on too. Yeah, so they're at about turning time now, and we can see, right? Pretty dark, completely on both sides. Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna reach in here, give them a little turn, right? You can see they are sweating in there. This is a pepper I already cut into. In general, you want these to be whole, but it's not a big deal, right? We can see that one's pretty good too. So I'm gonna give that a flip and I'm gonna let them keep going. All right, pepper check-in. So back to our tuna cakes. We got a bowl. We're just gonna throw everything in here together. Now, if anyone has seen my recent video where I went to Pensacola, Florida, and I had a smoked tuna dip there that was so good, or smoked whitefish dip. And I've been craving it. We're over there editing the videos and now I'm craving it. So I'm gonna make a tuna cake inspired by that, right? So in there we just have 2 cans of tuna. This is for 2 people, right? So we've got 1 can of tuna per person. That makes a nice family recipe. All right, I'm doing 1 egg in here with the 2 cans of tuna. And like I said, almond flour, right? Let's keep it gluten-free. It doesn't make it taste like almonds. I'm gonna go about 1/4 cup of almond flour on that, right? Just enough to make a binder, right? Because almond flour is really dry. So it does a great job of holding this together, but at the same time, we don't want it to be a dry tuna cake. Nobody likes that. All right, so I'm gonna go about half teaspoon of Dijon mustard on that. I'm gonna go 2 dashes of the Parents Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. If you guys know how to pronounce it, let me know. I'm gonna do just a dash or 2 of dried dill weed, right? I love dried dill weed. It adds such a nice briny, pickly flavor. Capers. I'm gonna throw a few capers in there. And of course, if there's any ingredients in here that you are not a fan of, that you don't like, you and your family don't like, don't add it, right? We just don't like it if we don't like it. All right. You know, we gotta add the Old Bay. This is a really important ingredient for giving it that like just delicious seafoody flavor. And I'm also originally an East Coast girl, so I think that this holds a special place in my heart. I love Old Bay. I could put it on anything and it would be good. All right, a little onion powder, a little garlic powder, right? And then what I'm gonna do, my little extra thing that I like to add is I'm gonna add a little bit of liquid smoke to my tuna cake because I want that smoked tuna dip vibe, but in a cake, in a tuna cake. All right, so this is strong, right? I don't know if you've played with this at all in your kitchen. I would go 5 or 6 drops. 6 drops on that, right? And then you mix everything in together, right? And you get this beautiful tuna cake. Okay? Now play it by ear, right? If it's looking too wet, add a little bit more flour. If it's too dry, add a little mayonnaise. You can always add mayonnaise in there. All right, so I'm gonna mix this. I'll be right back. All right, so we have our tuna cakes formed. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pop them in the refrigerator, right? And that way they can set up. You want them to get a little bit cold, so here's me popping them in the fridge. So, all right, so let's check back in on those peppers, right? And we can see, right? Are these ready to flip? No, right? They need to be a little bit darker. So we'll just kind of keep an eye on those. Now in the meantime, I'm probably gonna make a little bit of rice, maybe some quinoa with that, to go along with my tuna cakes. And then a little bit of vegetables, but we'll check back in on those tuna cakes because I wanna show you how I do them in a way that's a little bit healthier and just as equally delicious. All right, let's take a look on how these peppers are progressing. All right. So at this point, I see the skin pulling away. Everything's nice and dark. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull these out, right? So I was able to achieve a nice deep roast on a pepper without an open flame, right? So those of us with an electrical stove, right? We can too roast peppers. All right, get those beautiful char. All right, and it smells so good already, right? You know how I love to smell everything. All right, so we're gonna put these on a plate or on a bowl, and I'm gonna cover this so we can let this steam. You can see the steam already building up. So these are gonna steam for at least 10 minutes until they're cool enough to handle, and then we're gonna peel off the skin. And then we've got beautiful roasted peppers. I like to do a little roasted pepper salad, so I do some olive oil, oregano, and salt on those, and it's really, really good. So, roasted peppers in the oven. You can do it. All right, bye. Okay, so here we have it. This is the tuna cake, right? under a half an hour. I had this on the table. It is healthy. It is inexpensive. It is delicious, which is the most important part, right? We want delicious. So all I did was microwave this potato and then charred it in the oven. I seasoned it when it came out because I don't want to burn my seasonings. Nobody likes to burn season. No one wants their seasonings burned. Okay, so we've got our steamed vegetables here, which I just put, again, a little salt and pepper. And then we've got our tuna cake, which I topped with a little dip that I made, a little mayonnaise based, right? Everything on here is so healthy. A little bit of mayonnaise, that's okay. Now, of course, I used Hellmann's. I'm not sponsored, but Hellmann's is my favorite mayonnaise, so I'm just gonna put that out there. It's delicious. All right, so we charred this in the oven, right? It's nice and crispy. It's delicious, right? I didn't make a big mess all over my stove. My whole house is not gonna smell like fish. So make this at home. It's really delicious, fast, easy, right? Let's give it a little taste, right? We got our little sauce here. I can give you the sauce recipe if you want. Check that out. This is so good. So good. So easy. So healthy, right? Get those fish, that fish in your diet, right? It's an easy way. You keep the cans right in your cabinet so you don't got to worry about finding fresh fish. We live in Arkansas, so we're using the canned fish, but it's delicious. I really hope you try it. Give the recipe a try. Change anything you want of anything that you might like that might be different than what I put in there, and let me know how it goes. Try it, let me know what you think. All right, guys, enjoy, bye.